Hey, Allison Verhalen here, and today I am talking about book promotion tips because I always say that there's nothing that really sets you apart as an expert in your industry more than being able to say you literally wrote the book on the subject, right? It's a big part of why I wrote my book, Content Marketing Made Easy, right? It was so I could get on stages, I could get on podcasts. Little bit of money doesn't hurt either, right? But it's a great way to set yourself up, right? And I love being able to say that I'm an author, saying that I'm a content marketer, SEO strategist, speaker, and author. And that just sounds good, right? But that's just the beginning. And I know, because like I said, I got my own book. I know how much work it is to write and publish the book and get it out there. The bad news is that's just the beginning. Now you have to promote it. Now you have to let people know that your book exists, that your book can help them. And then once they read your book, they know that you can help them because they know what an expert you are because they read all about it. Some people will come to you just because you have a book. They don't even need to read it. They just need to know it exists in order to see you as an expert and reach out to you for more information about whatever it is they need. So how can you get the word out? Before you publish, most of these things are going to be after you publish, but before you publish, come up with the perfect title, right? Content Marketing Made Easy. It says what the book does, right? And now that's something that I promote every time I talk about the book. I want to talk about the fact that content marketing is not rocket science. It's not brain surgery. There are SEO strategists out there who will have you think that it's like some dark magic that only a few chosen can understand, right? It's not that complicated. Yes, there are some aspects of it that get super technical, but if you follow the basics, which is not that hard, you'll be okay. So that's why I wanted to write my book. It's kind of demystify the whole content marketing thing. Also, content marketing, pretty big keyword for what I do. It's a good keyword too. It has gotten more competitive since I started using it, so it's a little harder to rank for it now. But it is a good keyword. So that was also a factor in titling my book. So think about that for your title. It has to catch the reader's attention. It should have a keyword. It should give an accurate indication of what the book is about, and it should pique the reader's interest. It should make them go, that's something I want to know more about. So keep that in mind. Next up is your description. So when you go, this is assuming you're self-publishing, right? If you're putting it on Amazon, get that description. Again, same as the title. Should pique the reader's interests. Catch their attention, right? You've already got their attention. Now it should engage them and kind of draw them in. Also, keywords, because people go straight to Amazon to search for stuff, and Amazon's search engine, which is different from Google, they have their own search engine. They will look through product descriptions and titles to look for those keywords. So if they are looking for something specific and you've got those keywords in your description, Amazon is going to figure that out. You're going to show up in those searches. So make sure your description, again, it has to be engaging, has to be accurate, and it has to have those keywords. Next up is your category. So if you've ever seen those, a lot of self-published authors do this. They say, I'm a best-selling author on Amazon, right? It's because they chose their category very specifically, very intentionally, and they managed to rank in that category. They managed to get to the, so they're not the number one best-selling book on all of Amazon. They are the number one best-selling book in that category. So if you can get that ranking, I'm not saying they're lying. I'm absolutely saying go ahead and call yourself a best-selling author, because that is even better than being able to say, hey, I'm an author, is being able to say you're a best-selling author. So absolutely go for it. But in order to do that, you have to pick your category very carefully. And again, there are people, when they are searching on Amazon, they go straight to a category. They'll go straight to the business books. They'll go straight to the finance books. They'll go straight to whatever it is they're looking for. And if you really look through the categories on Amazon, you might be surprised how specific it can get. There are tons of categories on Amazon. It's not just fiction, nonfiction, right? They break it down a lot more than that. So look through the categories and make sure you're choosing your category. Don't choose a category just because it's easy to rank in there and there's not a lot of books in there. Again, it has to be relevant. But again, choose your category. Make sure it's relevant, but also try to see if you can get a category that it's easy to rank for. Speaking of which, next tip is a promotional discount. So I got this tip from a friend where you can have your book for free for a certain number of time, right? And you let everyone know, right? You blast it out in your newsletter. Is free for like a week. I don't know if you can do it for more than a week on Amazon, but a week is a good example, right? If you can sell a bunch of books, even if for free, it doesn't matter. It will say that you sold a bunch of books. That's a great way to get to the top of your category, is by selling a whole bunch of books, and now you're at the top, which A, now you get to call yourself a best-selling author. B, when people search in that category, you're going to show up at the top. Amazon is going to go, oh, look, they sold a whole bunch of units, a whole bunch of copies of this book. Now we're going to give them a little more visibility, because Amazon wants to make more money, right? Amazon wants to keep selling your book. So if they see that there's already a demand for it, they're going to make it easier for more people to buy it. So absolutely take advantage of those promotional discounts. That is also something I have done for the past couple years on Black Friday. That's my Black Friday sale. And again, it lasts for a week. It's not just Black Friday, but I let people buy my book for free, the ebook at least, every Black Friday. Easy promotion right there. Next up, reviews, because that's the next thing people look at, right? They're going to look at the title, they're going to look at your description, and then they're going to, if they're still considering buying, they're going to look at the reviews. They want to see if people have actually been reading this book, and especially if it's on Amazon, they want to make sure that they have actually read the book, right? They got to make sure it's a verified buyer who has read this book and then left this review. So encourage people to leave reviews. You can have this as a call to action in your book. Say, hey, if you got all the way to the end of this book and you liked it, please leave me a review on Amazon. Have a raffle, have a promotion where everyone who leaves a review gets entered into a raffle to win some sort of prize, especially if you can make the prize relevant to the book and or the product or service you provide. Even better. That is a great way to get people engaged and get them to leave reviews. Great way to increase your visibility. Again, Amazon is going to look at that too. They like seeing those reviews, especially if they're verified buyers leaving reviews and not just a bunch of robots. Don't hire a bunch of robots to leave reviews for you. You can do that, but it's not a good practice. Don't do it. When you are using those raffles and asking people to leave reviews, everyone who leaves a review gets entered into the raffle if that's something that you're doing. You can have a cutoff date, obviously, because you got to cut it off somewhere. But do not make it contingent upon a good review. If they leave you a 1-star review, they still get entered into the raffle just like everyone else. It has to be an honest review, because if people only see 5-star reviews of your book, it's going to look a little sketchy. It's going to look like you hired a bunch of robots to leave you a bunch of 5-star reviews. So don't focus on the 5-star reviews. Just get as many reviews as you can. I know I always look, when I'm comparing products on Amazon, I look at the average rating and I look at the number of reviews that have been left. So if it's got a higher rating but a lower number of reviews, I'm going to weigh that differently than something with a slightly lower average rating, but a ton of reviews. So get reviews. Don't worry about making sure they're all 5 stars. Obviously, you want mostly 5 stars, but they should not be all 5 stars. Next up is a book tour. Back in the day, this meant like physically traveling the country and going to a bunch of bookstores and doing signings. You can still do that if you have the funds for it. But again, if you're self-published, you're going to be paying for that yourself. If this is your first book and it's published with a publishing company, you're probably still going to be paying for it yourself, because they're not going to want to pay for that. But these days, you've got a digital book tour, because we have the internet. We can get our visibility all over the place without actually leaving our homes, which is great. So my 2 favorite are guest blogging. Find websites that are in areas relevant to yours and hop on and ask them, if they need a guest blog. And then ask if you can also leave a link to your book. Don't spend the whole guest blog promoting your book. That is not the point of the guest blog. Blogging, content marketing should always provide value. So don't be like, hey, I'm going to write this whole blog post for your website about my book that I just wrote and published, and hopefully everyone will buy my book. That's not going to be the goal. The goal will be to provide value. Oh, and by the way, I have a book. If you want more information, here's where you can get it. That's the kind of blog post you should be writing for yourself, and especially for your guest blogs, because they're not going to publish it if it's all promotion. There's really nothing in it for them or their audience if they do that. So make sure you're providing value first, then mentioning where people can go to buy your book. You can publish like a snippet, like a chapter or a part of a chapter of your book, and have that as your blog post that you're submitting. Totally valid. And then you can say, hey, this is a snippet from my book. If you want to read the whole thing, here's where you can go to buy it. Again, this is assuming that your book is providing value, which it should be. If your whole book is saying, hey, buy my services, that's not a good book. Don't do that. Provide value in your book and on your guest blogs. The other thing I've been doing is guest podcasting. When you reach out to podcasts and say, hey, I think we're in the same field or in a related field, I would love to come chat with you and have you record it and put it out into the universe. Let's talk. If you can do that and reach out, and in that reach out email say, by the way, I'm an author. I wrote this book right here. That, again, increases your visibility, establishes you as a thought leader in your industry. They're much more likely to accept your request to be a guest on their podcast. I have done that a bunch. I have even come across podcasts that won't accept a pitch to be a guest on their podcast unless you have a book. So again, speaking gigs, same thing. A lot of them won't even consider you unless you are an author. So keep that in mind. Some podcasts do require you to pay in order to be on their podcast. Totally up to you, whether that's within your budget, whether it's worth it to you to pay for that. Just know that there are a bunch of people who will have you for free, and some people will require you to pay. I look at matchmaker.fm and podmatch.com are my two go-to places to match up with people who are hosting podcasts so I can get on them. Last but not least is your newsletter and social media. You have to blast it out yourself. So put it in your newsletter, put it on your social media. And again, with social media, as with guest blogging, see if you can find people who are influencers in your industry or in a related industry and get them. You can partner up with them on social media. You can do stuff together on social media to talk about marketing or finances or the law or whatever your area of expertise is. And then at the end of that conversation, say, hey, by the way, I have this book, and you can get them to help you promote the book and spread it to their audience as well as yours. This is not one and done. Keep doing this. Keep putting it in your newsletter. Keep putting it out on social media. Keep mentioning it on podcasts so that people know about your book. So that is it. That is everything that I have for you today. If you do want to buy my book, it is on Amazon, Content Marketing Made Easy. And if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can get it for free. So that is it. If you have any other questions, you can find more information like this over on my website at AV, as in my initials, Allison Verhalen. So that is avwritingservices.com. And you can reach me directly at info@avwritingservices.com. That's it. Have a great week and happy blogging, everyone.